Hi, good afternoon. I'm Kate from London. I hope you're well. Fantastic. I just watched a clip now before I came live. I saw a clip as I was trying to come live of a young lady who moved to the United Kingdom. And the post was saying, I want to jackpot, here I am, something like that. She was in a warehouse where she was working and she was weeping. When I say weeping, she was in tears. And I asked myself this question now, that if someone had told her why she was back home in Africa and told her that Africa where she was is a land that is filled with milk and honey, she would argue it. I remember many years ago when I told my friends and family that Nigeria is a land that is filled with milk and honey that the Bible referred to, they would be like, what do you mean, Kate? You're just very funny. And when they saw the experience I had, they said, Kate, you're just lucky. It's not about luck. Okay? It's not about luck. Many of you back home in Nigeria, you are living in dinar. Okay? Many of you have been told that when you go to school, you will work hard and you will get rich or you do well in life. But from experience, I must say that most of you who went to school back home in Africa, you've ended up, should I say it the way it is? You're making education to become something that is not worthwhile. Why? Because you are making education to be something you have to do to be an illiterate. Yeah. So you are making your education, that's why you have the degree in your hands. It doesn't make you educated. So that is why now Africa, especially Nigeria, you've produced a lot of educated illiterates. And why is it so? Because you were just thinking of one goal and you were not planning that if that path does not work, what is the plan B? And what you are wishing and hoping for in Nigeria, if I told you, it doesn't happen in the United Kingdom and it doesn't happen in the United States and it doesn't happen in any nation in the world that I know of. Maybe you know of one, you should tell me. That a nation that will guarantee you that when you graduate from a university that you'll be handled a job. That you'll be able to just apply for jobs and you get a job, especially from the government. It doesn't work like that. When I was in Nigeria many years ago, we talked about working with Shell and Chevron, all those top brands. When I got to Europe, I've never heard one person, when I say one person, I've never heard one person mention it. It's just small shops, small companies here and there. Graduates driving Uber. Graduates working in this country as security guards. Yes, you heard me right. So why do you think that Nigeria has the capability to employ all their graduates? Listen to me. Many of you went to school and you came out of school with a degree and you stopped learning. And you're still claiming that you're educated. Hello? Are you still there? I hope you are. I must say to you, that is not education. If you went to school 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, and that was the last time you studied, you're no more educated. Listen to me. The day you stop learning is the day you die. Many of you out there would rather buy hair extensions, fix your nails every week, buy clothes, buy shoes, the men, go out and drink and do all that rather than buying a book to read, rather than employing a coach to coach you. And you're thinking that the problem that you have is because Nigeria have bad leadership. Listen to me. Why most African countries have issues with leadership? In the United Kingdom, we have issues too. But don't put your poor lifestyle or your approach to life, thanks for joining, Mark, to be the reason why you're where you are today. Because what you're expecting the African leaders or any leader in any part of the world to provide for you, it doesn't work like that. We know that they are poor from not providing you health care back home in Africa, which is a concern. No electricity, yes, which is a concern, which we know that is poor. But don't think that when you move abroad, that someone is going to hand you a job in a platter of gold. It doesn't work like that. The poor girl now, she's crying mercilessly in the warehouse where she's working in the United Kingdom, and she's weeping. She's weeping. And now I'm sure she's not in regret now, because she's saying in the cab, they said, I want to japa. That's the word the Yorubas use when they want to travel abroad. Japa in Nigeria means you want to travel abroad. Listen to me. Traveling abroad is not the solution to your problem. Many years ago, as a young graduate, I said that to my friends. I said, I don't want to travel abroad for any reason, because I know I can do well where I'm in Africa there. And they'll be like, Kate, what do you mean? I said, yes. They don't want to do the hard work. That's the problem. You don't want to study. You went to school, you got a certificate, you dump it on a shelf, and you stop learning. Then what makes you different from the person that didn't go to school? There's no difference as far as I'm concerned. People went to school to become an educated illiterate. That's what they went to do in school. When you have wisdom and you have understanding, you are better off than someone who have a PhD and lack wisdom. That's the truth. You can't go to school and just be thinking that when you apply for 1-2 job, you don't get a job, or you start blaming the country, you start sitting down at home looking for becoming a nuisance in your neighborhood or asking for money here and there. The day when I graduated, the day I finished school, that was the last day I asked for anything. Not that I got a job immediately, but I refused. And when my mom came to visit us in Lagos, and she realized I've not started working, and I was not asking for money from her, I didn't ask her to be bringing food through the transport vehicle. She was telling me, if you haven't got a job, why didn't you tell me I'll be sending you food stuff? And I told myself, I said, no, God forbid that. My mom was like, what? What do you mean by that? You're not working yet. I said, Mommy, the fact that I'm not working yet doesn't mean I have to be a liability. I remember when I was given 3,000 naira and I had my handbag that was running out now. Ruining all. I wanted to change that bag, I went to buy a new bag. But I said to myself, instead of buying this bag, what if I don't get a job before the bag, get ruined completely? Let me use that money and start a business. And I started a t-shirt business with 3,000 naira. It paid me. Actually relocated from Nigeria because of marriage. Because I wanted to have a record. By now you'll be reading about me. Rag to riches story to becoming a millionaire. Because I made my first million on just over 20 years old. No, before my 30, just after mid 20 or thereabout, I made my first million. So, what am I saying to you? It's not the country you live that's the problem most of the time. If you are not sick, if you don't have a child or a family member you are caring for, in any way you are living, you can do well. What you need to do is to be open to learning and to know how to embrace opportunity. Listen to me. How many of you here listen to me now or later? Right? We assure me that you went to primary school without a teacher. That you were your own teacher in your primary school. And you tell me, if you were your own teacher or lecturer, your own teacher in secondary school and your own lecturer also in the university, if you went to university, were you the one teaching yourself in school? Were you your own head teacher? Were you your own principal? Were you your own vice chancellor? Come on, let's be realistic here. You went to school, even in kindergarten, you had a teacher there, those that went to kindergarten like myself. So now in your real life, you want to do everything by yourself. You want to make yourself the marketer, you want to make yourself, you don't have a coach. You don't have anyone holding you accountable. If you say, I will do it and you don't do it, nobody asks you. In school, when you were given homework, when you get to school, a teacher asks you for the homework to submit it. That makes you accountable. And if you don't, either ask you to go and stand up there. In Africa, either they give you a cane or they send you out of the class or give you some punishment. That makes you accountable, people. So now in your real life, you don't want to hire anyone. And some of you who are married and even your partner are helping you become nuisance in your home. You make them feel as if they are bothering you. Because you don't want to move forward. You're just comfortable in your comfort zone. If someone had told her back home, come, let's coach you and tell you what you need to do while you are still in Nigeria or you are in African country where she was coming from, she will be saying, no, I just want to travel abroad. They'll be looking at the exchange rate. What do you mean by exchange rate? We don't pay our bills here in local currency that you use back home. We pay our bills here in the sterling as well. So what do you mean that when you Google the exchange rate, you feel it's better off here? You need to be wise. You need to open your mind and be coachable. You need to go and hire a coach to work with you. You can't do everything all by yourself in your personal life and in your business. And that is the reason why 98% of the world population, you heard me right, not just in the UK, not just America, not just African country, not Asian country alone, but the world population fail to fulfill their potential according to what? To statistics, people. You need to listen and take the right step in the positive direction. If you're blaming everything gone high, everything will go high. I always tell people this. Listen, when I was a kid, my mother sold cement. The cement you use in building houses, building houses. My mother sold it for 5 naira. 5 naira is less than how many? It's less than 1 cent. It's about 1 cent is much more than 5 naira. That's the amount a cement was worth then. And we have this neighbors, elderly, average people. Then they look elderly now, but then I thought they were elderly, but now growing up now, I knew that they were not elderly. They were just the way they looked after themselves. They will come every day, they will buy cigarettes, they will buy alcohol, they will drink all the time. These people lived in a mud house. Their house was not painted, was not in bricks. They couldn't buy 1 bag of cement for 5 naira to actually plaster the house to make it nice. But on a daily basis, these people bought drinks and cigarettes worth more than 5 naira. So what am I saying here? It's not the situation that's the problem. The problem is about how you are handling the situation. It's your approach to life. I know there are so many people out there now who say they want to help and they don't help, but you can look for someone who is accountable, is authentic, who is reliable, who have your interests at heart, so they can work with you, so you can move forward in a positive direction. Don't be blaming, and be thinking the way of escape is just to run. There were some ladies here working with me here a while ago, and they would call them on the phone. They were about to throw their things out of their house. One of those ladies, they have their own houses in Nigeria. The other one had a company where she had about 16 staff working under her back home in Nigeria. And because she was crazy about coming abroad, and she came abroad to come and suffer. Listen to me. One thing is to go to school. One thing is to have wisdom. And if you ask me now, I choose wisdom over education. Yes. Why education is important? If you go to school and you don't know what to do with it, it becomes a liability. You become a liability with your degree. All the degrees I acquired, I'm not even using most of them now. I'm not using them, apart from my coaching training and my publishing training that I have done. So, but I didn't come out from school and say, oh, I couldn't get a job, and as my mother said, I should be calling her, sending messages so she can buy me food stuff. I never did that. I sold t-shirts. From there, I went to designing shirts for bankers. Then when I got a job, I couldn't know them. I worked about a year, 7 months in that company. The employer was not paying our salaries anymore. I said, no, I needed an international job. I worked hard, I prayed, and I studied too. And God favored me, saw my determination, and I got an international job. And I was not earning both naira and sterlings while I'm back home. You see what I mean? But I did something about my move. I didn't just say I wanted an international job and I crossed my legs waiting for the international job to come and run through my house. That's not how it works. Now we're offering you how to write a book successfully. Some of you will be like, oh, people write a book. No, it's not about people, how they do it. There's a right way to do everything. If you watch my video, if you didn't watch my video on Instagram, I did say you watch a video of Stephen Thord. But that I looked at YouTube, there are lots of Stephen Thord there. So rather, I will ask you to go to the website. If it's not live now, it will be live maybe later today or tomorrow. Is www.tmabookpublishing.com. So there you will be able to take advantage of this course that they have designed to help you to write a book successfully, to publish your book professionally, and to sell your books. Because most publishing firms don't tell you how you should sell your book. And you know, as an author, because I'm a best-selling author, #1 best-selling author of the book Triumph in the Midst of Adversity, we understand that selling your book is paramount. after writing a great book. People need to read it. So take that course now and be writing your book in your comfort, at the comfort of your home, wherever you're living in the world. You have a job now, it's okay. There's no one job that can pay your bills and take care of you and also help families. No one job. I've never done it before. I don't know how you cope with it. If you don't have somebody you're caring for, how will one job be enough for you? That course will help you to write a book that people want to sell. It will help you to know what your target audience are, how to get your target audience that you can sell your book to, and to write your book professionally, how to set up your Amazon page professionally, and how to get the right keywords for your book and write your blog professionally. Everything you need as an author to succeed is in that course now. And now it is massively discounted. It's 4 times less than the original price. And I don't know how soon it's going to go from get back to the full price. But now they are doing it discounted. So if you're interested, you can check their website now and get yourself booked on their course. Because you need to do something differently. Because if you are doing the same thing and you're expecting a different outcome, what is that? It is insanity, people. It is insanity. We cannot do the same thing and expect a different outcome. We must do things differently. You must be willing to learn. You must be willing to unlearn also. There are things you have that are not working for you. Unlearn them. You don't stick to it and say, no, this is how I've been. It won't work like that. You see, it wouldn't. Hi, Mark. How are you doing? Long time. I remember Mark, Evan, Oakley. I remember you. You know, so this is it for you. You can't do the same thing and expect a different outcome, people. You cannot. You need to be real to yourself. Be real. I really felt sorry for that lady. I was almost crying with her. But if you told her, listen, now you finish school back home, or whatever you're doing, you can do this from back home. People are working now in African countries, earning dollars. But they are still there looking for a government job. I remember many years ago, I had a cousin who wanted to work. She keep complaining she wanted to work, but the only job she wanted was a civil service job. I said, okay. I offered her to get work with my company. They said she can't fly. She's scared of flying. So, okay, what about the ground staff? She didn't want that. But when she got the government job, she was still complaining. The salary is not enough. You know, you have to send them money. Oh, my goodness, people. You need to know what you want and go for what you... Because for me, I told myself when I left uni, I said, I'm not going to take any job that's going to make me not to be able to afford the quality of shoes I'm wearing as a student now, and now finish, I can't even afford a pair of shoes to wear. I'll be suffering everywhere. No, what kind of job is that? I said I wouldn't. So what I did, I fixed a salary I was going to start with. That's what I did. And later on, that salary, I increased it. And my half sister was like, you are not experienced. How you say you want to work and start a job with this salary? I say yes. Because I need to pay my rent. I cannot be working and be expecting somebody to pay my rent, expecting somebody to do this. No, I can't live like that. So I need to get myself prepared to get a job that can pay my bills and still be able to take care of my mom too. And have savings. You need to tell us. And I prepare myself to get that kind of job too. When I'm going for the interview, I prepare myself also. I look after myself. Some of them go for interview and they make you to feel sorry for them to give them the job. Really? They won't even dress nice. They won't even polish their shoes as if they are the only person that have a problem on earth. When you see me go out for an interview, I remember there was a bank I went. The guy said to me, they don't think they can pay me. I said, no, I believe you can. I told the guy, I said, I don't look as expensive. I'm not as expensive as you think. That's what I said. Because I needed a job, but I know how much they pay already before I went. You see what I mean? So you cannot say you want something up here, but all you do is to be here. It doesn't align. Even in coaching, you need to have smart goals. You need to have realistic goals, people. You cannot be saying, oh, things are hard and you stay there. What are you going to do now that things are hard? You have a business. The business is not going well. Have you hired a coach to work with your strategic consultant, to work with you and to see your business? Because you are the one running the business, you might not see what it is that you need to do differently. I'm telling you this. Even organizations who think they have done everything and they close up, if they call me to come and see what they're doing in the organization, it will take me 2 minutes. I'll give them the answer to that problem. But they are chief directors of their company. They think they have the answers. It doesn't matter your title. It matters what you have, the skills you have, your intellectual capability, and what you invest in. When you know your strength, you invest in it. Problem solving is something I'm interested in, and I know I have that gift, and I work so much on it. I develop it. When I have strategic consultation with my client, they have the Hawa moment. They say, okay, we never thought about it like this. I say, that's why I'm here. But you see me, instead of you DM me to ask me for consultation, all these people from Africa, it's only money, give me money they ask. Since how many years I've left Africa, only giving them money that they ask you for. Their life never changed. You need to do things differently. There's a lady who I thought she was serious. She wanted to do this. She was a pro star before in athletics. She will go here and there. Tomorrow night she will say she's broke. Telling me, oh, can you? I said, I'm not borrowing money. I'm a coach. She don't want to talk to me anymore. I said, okay, that's good for you. You think all these people from Africa, they think you owe them. Honestly, you being nice doesn't mean you're stupid. That's what you need to get. We spend money to invest in ourselves. I didn't go to the coaching academy for free. I paid my fees. I stay up to study. I don't sleep when you sleep. So I'm equipped to work with you. But if you're not ready, I can't force you to help you. You see, the skill doesn't decay. I use it every day. So that's what I'm saying to you. I really felt sad seeing that girl weeping like this. If she doesn't look after herself, that's why she will fall into depression. Because you're always looking for what you don't have. You don't look inwards. Everybody wants to look. Oh, when I went to Africa 2022, come and see. I spoke to several people, Mark. Do you know, these people don't know themselves. They don't know each other. But if I told you, every of these people I spoke to, they spoke the same language. Oh my goodness. They spoke the same language. And what was their language? They are hoping they had something they could use to help themselves. Whereas, looking at these people, they have everything already they needed. They had everything they needed to help themselves. But what are they looking for? Some of them are hoping that, oh, as I came from abroad, I would have brought a bag of money for them. That's when they would listen to. I actually gave one of this lady my card. She didn't know the importance of me handing her my card. This lady had a sewing place in a strategic place of Ikeja, and she was still complaining. I really knew on that visit that people are mentally sick. A lot of people are not well. Not that they are sick, that in their mind, in their reasoning, but they don't appreciate that they need help. So when they don't think they need help, how can you help them? That lady, looking at her shop for the few minutes I was there, I knew exactly what she would do in that shop to attract the kind of clients she hoped to have as a client that can pay her the kind of money she's looking for. But she don't want to call me as a coach. Is it me that will come and tell her, you come, let me help you? She's not serious. You see, she would just say, oh, Nigeria is this. I said to someone this morning, I said, if the country Nigeria could actually vomit some Nigerians, it would have vomited some Nigerians. Because what they are doing, they are just taking advantage of the circumstances the country have, the poor leadership, and blaming everything on it. We know there are things that are not working well there. But what about the advantage you have there? There are a lot of opportunities you have there that we don't have here too. Why are you only seeing the opportunities we have here? Yeah? The only thing, as far as I'm concerned, that is make this place better than where you people are is the NHS and the job seeker allowance we have here. And the elderly people we care for, which is a huge difference, I understand. And also we have electricity. But there are things that they have there. For example, if I run my water now, as I'm here now, and I don't turn it off, my bill is going to like maybe double for the year. Thames Water is going to increase my water. But back home there, all you need to do is to dig your borehole, and you have a generator to pump if there's no electricity, and you have water free for life. And they don't see that as an opportunity. You see, they get their solar panel in their houses there because there's so much sun. It's saving a lot of bills. But I understand not everyone can afford the solar panel, which I get. But they also should see the opportunity you have. Even in life, when you have challenges, if all you see is the problem, you become overwhelmed. I'm telling you this. I'm someone who have gone through several adverse situations in my life, and I still go through some challenges. But I must say to you, if your approach to life is only focusing on the problem that you have in life, you might not have good health. I'm telling you this. And you might not be able to move forward because those weights will weigh you down. That's why I say to everyone, if you are still breathing and you have not read the book, Triumph in the Midst of Adversity, then you are not doing yourself some justice. It's a book that is a must read. I've written several books, but the book Triumph in the Midst of Adversity, if you're living on this planet, you must read it because that's the strategy I work with. Look at me. Look at the way I'm looking. But I care for a child with challenging behavior. You see, I go through challenges. I go through sibling rivalry and hate. You see, I go through challenges. That if I tell you some challenges I face, you'll be like, what? You will tell me that if you go through that, you will not be alive. I'm telling you this. But I'm here, glowing. I know the grace of God is more than sufficient for me as well. You know what I mean? But what am I saying? You need to change your mindset. Because that girl now, the way she's feeling, that she'll be regretting. I wish she stayed at home. You know, instead of traveling to London. London, traveling to any country is not just the solution. You need to work on your mindset. You need to get a coach wherever you are. I tell them back home, Africa, say, the untrusty behavior you have, people are not reliable, you want to display smart on people unnecessarily, that alone is worse than what the president has cost you in Nigeria. And they were like, oh, I said, yes, of course. Because if you guys there are trusted, you can do a lot of business with people all over the world, but you are not trustworthy. When someone pays you now to send something to them, you disappear. And you'll be thinking, why is the person going to find you? That's what you'll be thinking. Instead of you to have integrity. Integrity is important. I contacted a lady in Nigeria. They referred to me to buy me some stuff. The first time she did very well. I now paid her to help me buy some stuff. She could buy some stuff and I paid her to do it. She said yes. I said, I'll pay you this amount and I'll give you this amount. You tell me how much I'll give you for transport. You said I should use my discretion for the transport. I gave her like maybe the amount of the transport I gave her was much more than she should take for transport. Guess what she did to me? She poisoned the things I asked her to buy. She poisoned it. You imagine? She poisoned it. And God told me when she brings the things, I should pray on them before I use it. And aside, because the things were, and because she poisoned, look at what God did. God ensured that the cargo, the entire cargo was delayed. She said she had never experienced anything like that before. Even the company she's cargo through said they never experienced anything like that before. It was later I understood why those cargo were delayed. Listen, you cannot just want to do evil to someone who did nothing to you. I'm the daughter of the Most High God. Okay? Before I'm a certified life and business coach, I'm the daughter of the Most High God. So you cannot just say because I paid you, I'm nice to you, you want to now come and do it. The cargo were delayed, not for 1 week, not for 2 weeks. For about 3 weeks, it was delayed. And even when it was finally released, it took time. They were sorting everything out. Because why? The thing she was sending down, God needed those things, the time frame that I needed to, maybe the thing had to work on me, the way they planned it. God made sure it was delayed. And when it got to London here, it was also delayed. The system crashed down. You don't understand. This God is too much. The system, for them to package it and send to my house, the system crashed down. It crashed. And I was here wondering, why is it delayed? God was doing me a favor and I was here complaining. Why was it delayed? Why was she doing that? Because she saw I've trusted her the first time. She bought me stuff and I took them and all that. So now she feels comfortable now, like, oh, I've trusted her. So now she can poison me. She don't understand that it's not everybody you can do evil to and you go free like that. And it wouldn't work. God, thanks Brother Julius for joining. God made sure the entire cargo was delayed. She said, madam, this thing is, and you're the only one that is understanding. The other people are giving me stress. All her customers were giving her a lot of headache that period because she wanted to do evil to me. She poisoned it. And God said, pray on that thing before you use it. And I didn't remember to pray. And as soon as I put my, oh my God, I felt, and that's when Holy Spirit reminded me, say, told you to pray. But God is a merciful God. He had mercy on me too. But I said, what? I made a video and I sent it to her. So you let these people know that you know what they are doing because they think they are smart. And since then, she ran away. She don't come near me again. And if you see this lady, the way she behaved, yes, ma, yes, ma, yes, ma, and she's a witch. What do you want to poison me for? What did I do to her? I paid you for the service. I also gave you more money than you expected me to give you for transport. I was nice to you. I was and look at how to. From my experience, when you are kind to these people, they don't pay you back with kindness. That's the truth. But anyway, what I'm saying here today is not, I'm just using it as an example too. What is the problem, in Africa too? Because when you just blame the nation, the problem, the general problem, and you take that as the yardstick to make yourself to stay in your comfort zone, and you keep blaming the nation and all that. We have more problem in this country than you have in Nigeria, just in case you're not aware. Because it's not in the TV, it's not on BBC, doesn't mean there's no problem. You see, I was almost getting upset the other day when I heard, one of these radio stations in London talking about some problem in one country and all that, just hammering on it too much. Even when the lady was trying to explain, it was just pushing back. Like, those people, can you focus one day and talk about your problems too that are not being addressed in this country? Because me being a mother of a child with disability, there are things that I know that go on in this country that when I used to visit London, if you told me that this happened in the United Kingdom, I would say no, it can't be. This is a civilized world. Civilized what? You mean civilized? You have to hear some stories someday. So what am I saying here? I felt very sad when I saw that girl crying. And saying that she has jackpot to the United, she has jackpot here and look at what she's going through. She was really weeping. But this is what I'm saying. This world now is a global village. That's one thing most of you must be aware of. And the fact that you move from your country is not the reason why you do better. You see, there are problems everywhere. For me, I feel that Nigeria is very easy to navigate things. You see, to make money in Nigeria is even very easy because how much tax do you even pay? What is the tax there? What's the percentage of tax? I think when I was working in Nigeria, my tax was high because I worked for a UK company. That was why my tax was high. But even at that, I was still having much more to take home. So what I'm saying to you today is that you cannot be running your business or running your personal life the way you do, on your own. Except you can assure me that when you went to your primary school, that you were your own teacher and you were also your own head teacher or headmaster. Then if you were in secondary school also, when you went to your secondary school, you can also assure me that you were your own teacher in your secondary school and your own principal. And when you went to university, you were your own lecturer in school and you were your own vice chancellor. And you supervised your project yourself. You didn't have a project supervisor. Then if you can assure me that this is what it is, then you can run your business and run your life on your own without having a coach. You see, when you're doing things on your own, you can only see from your own perspective. Imagine you walking to the classroom in your primary school with your slate. Like those of us that went to school with slate. Oh, with my chalk bag. Very little kids with our slates. It would be so interesting if I had that picture today. You see, and you got to the classroom, you sat down there and you were teaching yourself. Really? First year, second year to your primary 6, and you left there and went to the secondary school. How are you going to perform in class? No, you just tell me. We need to be real here. How are you going to perform in your secondary school? Even if you went to the school every day, Monday to Friday, even if they asked you to do extra 2 days, and you were your own teacher, are you going to be the best in your secondary school? No. This is what many of you are doing in your real life. You want to do everything on your own. You deal with your marriage relationship. You deal with everything. When you know you have a relationship and it's not working. When you have some coach working with you or some counselor, you will now see some things differently from their own angle as an expert working with several people. When you're working with a coach, it means that you are working and running your life with so many people's experience. When you read books, because some of you, the last time you read a book is when you were in school, especially from where I come from, Nigeria. If they're not going to have a certificate, majority don't read. It's the truth. They only read to acquire certificates. They love to have degrees, certification, but they don't really read. Like to read, to acquire knowledge about life experience of other people, read a book, buy a book and sit down and read it. It's very rare for them to read. But what am I saying? But if you work with a coach, the life experience of maybe 10,000 people is what you will be running your life with. You telling me that you can do better than that? No. That was why many years ago people ran to America, and up till now some people are still running there. But instead of asking, why are there many millionaires in America? What is the secret? Instead of asking questions, people felt they needed to board the flight and get to America. And they got to America and they were still broke. It's not about going to the country. If you knew that America was the first continent in the world that embraced coaching, even before the United Kingdom, they were one of those people. If you look at all the sports people like Vanessa Williams, a lot of the JT Fox and all that, they had coaches that worked with them. When you read their success stories, you should also find out what they did differently. It's not by just luck. They did things, they approached life differently. JT Fox said the day the coach that coached him was offering coaching program in the event he went, and he got there, when he turned, he was the only one on the queue. He said he almost went back to sit, but something just told him, like, let me just stay, and he paid for the course. And he made it to become a millionaire in his 20s. So, and he was thinking he was going to become a millionaire in his 40s, but he did it earlier. Why? Because he worked with someone who was making him to be accountable. You might have, like a guy I met the other day, one of the African shop, he was saying, oh, investing in Nigeria is not advisable. He just lost, he just mentioned about, is it 30-something thousand pounds? Also investment, he just lost in Nigeria. Somebody hearing that now will say, okay, Nigeria is not a good place to invest. It's not because it's Nigeria. I asked this guy one question, he didn't say a word. Because he knew that he has messed up. Only one question I asked him, he just realized that, oh, this is not the kind of person I should just complain to, because he will show me my errors. That is just the truth. What he did, if he paid me to work with him on that project, by now he will be smiling. But he had lost about 30-something thousand pounds. You see, that's what happened. There's another guy that spoke to me some time ago, and he was telling me how the business he had before in Ireland, how much it's worth, and it's gone. Listen, you can't do it. The fact you're doing it now and it's working for some time doesn't mean it's sustainable. That's why you see people from the Arab countries, America, you see businesses that have stayed 20, 30 years, 50 years. But if I told you that the majority of our own businesses, they collapse even before the people die. That's the truth. And you're wondering why. When you are the one doing everything in your business, you don't own a business. You might just be making money from it now, but that's not truly a business. You say approach to a business that your children can inherit it from you. Not you begging them to come and run it. Because you have put it, you have really established the business in a manner that will be easy for them to cope when they come in. Anyway, I'm going to leave you now. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be going there more soon. You know, I've started going there now, so I'll be more frequent now. It's Kate Osho to grow the channel again. And my Instagram is KateTriumph_life and business coach. Okay, so we cannot just make excuses. You see, sometimes I want to be more here with you, but I know that if many people are in my position having a child, you know, with challenging, they will just say, you know what, because the child is challenging, they will use that as an excuse not to do anything in their life. They won't do nothing again. They will not go to, they won't study, they won't do anything. They will just say, oh, please, this is your, you see, but if you do that with life, then you shouldn't really blame the system or everything. You should also take responsibility that you are also part of this. You see what I mean? Because there's always a role for us to play. Even with us, with God, there's a role for us to play. Working closely with God. I must say to you, we have so much role to play. But sometimes we are waiting on God when God is waiting on us. That's what I've realized. The same thing with how people approach life. You're blaming, oh, Nigerian system. Nigerian system is poor, is bad, but what you are expecting from those African countries doesn't happen here. The same approach you're running your life with in any part of the world. If you move to another nation and you use the same approach, it wouldn't work. That lady is working in a warehouse now. If she had a job similar to that would pay her maybe about the same amount in Africa, you might not even want to do it. Just to clear grass. People who you think they are not managers, just ordinary everyday people. They are so proud like this back home. They wouldn't do it. But these people, if you give them 30,000, they'll be telling you thank you. But to clear a grass for them to collect that 30,000, they will not do it. Well, do you understand what I'm saying? And they are still the one blaming the government every day. That government is their problem. It's not always. It's not all the time. They have their problem. Not government have their problem. But you too, you have a role to play in your life. So you can do your business, and when you go on holiday, you know that yes, you know what you're doing. You know things are in place. Even if you're in your deathbed, you know that business will still run. Because you have a coach who have coached you on how to run business successfully. In a manner that if you are not there, like some people run business for 10 years, they can't go on holiday. They will say, if I go on holiday, this will happen. Really? So, this is it for you guys. So, thank you for joining. And I will be coming more live on Facebook as well. I've not been live on Facebook, like God knows. All right, thank you so much. And God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye.